Well, here's my second go around of downtown Nashville to see how much it has changed in the past 12 years. So here we go. Once again, I'm going south here, but I gotta go left in order to turn right. And then I'll get to my exit. And this is Murphy Road, which takes me to West End Avenue. You'll probably notice that they're going to have two of me talking. The one where I've got subtitles at the bottom or when I'm driving and I was jacking the jaws. And then I've narrated this video after the fact. Okay, here's where things get interesting for me. It's nice to go around and do the big circle to get a panoramic view, but I have not gone down the main corridor of downtown Nashville in like 12 years now. I'm really curious as to how much has changed, especially with all the high rises that have gone up, all the other businesses that used to be in place that I was used to seeing are going to be gone. Now I'm going to explain a few things to try to avoid confusing y'all. In this video, I explore multiple timelines, starting with me talking here, editing and narrating, 2 months after the me driving when I was gobsmacked by the visuals that I was not expecting to see. Poor me then. I just didn't know any better. Yep, I'm still here. Other timelines are where I compare the present to screenshots of Google Street View from more or less a dozen years ago or more, and also go off into a few tangents of interesting stuff which I dubbed as my pauses for too much information. Please enjoy the ride. What is that racket? Oh, it's a Ford. Never mind, I understand now. I'm sure they'll beat me to the next red light. About a mile in here on West End Avenue going south, or sorry, north. What direction am I going? Going towards downtown. And not a lot has changed up until now. But then up here right past, I believe is going to be the Marriott Hotel that I've done some work in a long time ago. I don't know. I don't remember seeing that church like that. Maybe I'm wrong, but good grief.
Let's now take a pause for too much information.
So after some research, I found out that's not a church. Turns out it's a college dorm on Vanderbilt University's campus. The location was formerly a university parking lot. Then they built that 20-story tower and all adjoining structures in collegiate Gothic-style architecture. Hey, I'm not an architect, so I didn't know there was such a thing. That building complex is named the Nicholas S. Zeppos College, which opened in August of 2020. Mr. Zeppos was Vanderbilt University's 8th chancellor in its 150-year history, and he served in that distinguished position from 2008 until he stepped down in 2019. Further on down West End Avenue were once the 14-story Carmichael Towers. They were named in memory of Oliver C. Carmichael, who served as Vanderbilt's 3rd chancellor from 1937 to 1946. The East Towers were completed in 1966, the West Towers in 1970. The Carmichael West Towers, Towers 3 and 4, were demolished in 2019. Tower 3 was imploded. Tower 4 was taken down by mechanical means to avoid damage to nearby structures. The East Towers, Towers 1 and 2, were both originally slated for implosion in the spring of 2020, but COVID nixed that, so their demolition was subsequently delayed until the summer of 2021. All 4 towers were taken down to make way for several other new residential colleges at Vanderbilt. A few other factoids I'm adding here because this is my video, so I can do that. Nicholas S. Zepos was the first chancellor to come from Vanderbilt since Oliver C. Carmichael in 1937. That's quite a coincidence. Why? Well, to participate in the labors of progress, Mr. Zepos was given the honor of operating the detonator which imploded Carmichael Tower number 3. Regarding the new college being named after him, I'm guessing that Mr. Zepos already knew that buildings named in honor of former chancellors means very little to the future students of academia. Mr. Zepos stated in an interview,
"I knew not to get too full of myself.
And
I realized that not many people notice those names or even know whom the buildings are named after, Zepos College included."
Mr. Zepos also so happens to be good friends with a man named James Patterson, the guy who has sold more books than just about anyone and who writes page turners with President Bill Clinton. As a retirement gift, Mr. Patterson used the name Nick Zepos for a character in his newest book, The President's Daughter. Nick Zepos would be the SEAL Team 6 leader, not only serving successfully on the first mission in the Gulf of Sidra, but ultimately be asked by the U.S. President himself to undertake a far more perilous rogue mission. The book jumped to number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list when it came out. From that, Nicholas Zepos mused,
"I've imagined an even more likely outcome over both the short and long term. Next year and in the following, one of our student guides will point and announce on a college tour, and this is Nicholas S. Zepos College. And a voice in the crowd will call out, 'How cool! You named it after the guy on SEAL Team 6.
So what's that got to do with my drive downtown? Well, that's a tall building recently built, and it's named after him, of course. Beautiful building. But on down there, you can already see a tower or a crane. They're building something there. And it just looks like there's going to be more buildings that I've never seen before on down. Off to the left here is a Parthenon. Off to my right, along with behind that Marriott, is Vanderbilt University, which you cannot see, and Vanderbilt Stadium. When the Houston Oilers were becoming the Tennessee Oilers, their first and second years, they didn't have a football stadium. This is the first year they played in Memphis, Tennessee. They didn't really want them there in Memphis, so then they played here at Vanderbilt University's stadium. And finally, the next year, when they got the new stadium built, they changed the name to the Tennessee Titans. I literally am going to become lost now. Because here's Lowe's, the hotel, a ritzy place, and it used to be all 1 and 2 stories all the way to past the side of the interstate at one point, but now it's become high rise after high rise after high rise. This is 21st Avenue South and West End Avenue. What are you doing? remember this church here on the right, and the now missing fast food joints I used to eat at back in the 2000s. This stuff on the left is brand new. And up ahead, now I'm going to be lost. Yeah. Now I'm like in unfamiliar territory. I think up here at one point is where Broadway and West End divided. Yeah, right there, that building right there with all on the right, that's where they split.
Here is your second installment of Too Much Information.
Let me pause my drive right here so I can speak of a place to my left that I remember, which absolutely nobody misses. After 20 years of planning and acquiring property, developer Alex Palmer was going to build a 2-tower mixed-use development called West End Summit. Excavation began in 2005. A chain-link fence and a huge glossy sign wrapped around it to advertise what great things were coming. Then, the 2007 recession hit and digging stopped. The excavation became a 3-acre limestone 80-foot deep hole. Eventually the hole filled in with rain, creating a body of water that reportedly reached a 60-foot depth, deeper than any of Nashville area lakes. Google Maps even recognized that there was a water feature there, albeit an unnamed one. Eventually that unintended body of water was derisively nicknamed Lake Palmer, after its struggling developer Alex Palmer. After an agreement fell through in 2012, Mr. Palmer sold the property to an investment firm in 2018. With the new owners commencing work in 2018, Lake Palmer would be no more. After 12 years of existence, Google now shows its business status as permanently closed. Although the so-called Lake Palmer 3-acre construction pit had always been fenced off for public safety, some turned to Google to comically harken up made-up memories to reflect on their sense of loss for an accidental lake that was deemed to be Nashville's biggest eyesore. Memories about life rafts, foam noodles, the refreshing sight of Lake Palmer through the chain-link fence, concerts by the scuba diving club at the bottom of the lake, or, as one comment simply put it, my favorite random man-made hole in Nashville. Of course, Google has now updated their maps, so Lake Palmer is no longer reflected there, and now there's something. And there used to be a car dealership. Yeah, it's still there, but that property is bought on the right. They moved, and then this is supposed to be redeveloped into something else. Okay, so we're fixing to cross over Interstate 40. Passes light.
Your third and final pause for Too Much Information.
I had to back up to take all this in because it's all so new. Just look at what they've done. Now, I know it's been a long ride so far, and this is going to take it for me to explain, so if you want to jump out and go grab a Coke or some sliders, or just go winky-dinky, I recommend White Castle down the road. Anyway, the first place to pop up here, Nashville Yards. It's under construction. 2 place markers don't do it justice, though. It could take up a whole video by itself. According to what I found out, it's going to have 7 acres of open plazas, courtyards, and green spaces. A 35-story Class A plus office tower, 2 residential towers, the Pinnacle Tower, hospitality such as the Grand Hyatt, and Union Station. Yes, they claim to have bought the historic Union Station. Then someday, 2 Amazon towers, which makes me wonder, is Jeff Bezos or his ex moving here too, like everyone else? Next set of buildings is 1200 Broadway and Whole Foods. The building is called 1200. They like to name the buildings after addresses here. Anyway, it's 26 stories. It was completed in 2019, and it's also called the Endeavor Tower. It's mixed-use residential, office, retail, and restaurants. Then there's the Grand Hyatt, formerly mentioned. 25 stories, and it opened in late 2020. Then there's the 1221 building, or 1221, again, named after its address. 28 stories, completed in 2022, and has premier office space, green space, conference center, and a retail. Embassy Suites Hotel, 30 stories, opened in late 2021. JW Marriott, 34 floors, opened in 2018. Then there's the Gulch Union Phase 1 building. It's a 20-story building, Class AA, with office space and retail space located on Demonbreun Street. Then down there below, you can hardly see at this point, is Gulch Union Phase 2. It's under construction. It's going to be a 31-story residential tower mixed-use development offering 300 luxury condominiums, penthouse residences, and is the second of a 3-tower Gulch Union mixed-use development. During my research, it seems that every one of these places claims to redefine the market with its world-class amenities and design while offering panoramic views. Well, it seems to me that once all of them are done, they're all simply going to be looking out their 25th floor windows at each other. Now, why did I say that? Well, presently there are 33 skyscrapers ranging from 21 to 46 floors in Nashville, Tennessee. 22 of which did not even exist in 2012. That was a mere 12 years ago. Under construction are 8 more, ranging from 27 to 60 floors. Proposed or pending buildings, a total of 37, ranging from the years 2022 all the way up to 2033, are to be determined. And the floors, 26 all the way up to 49. Kind of gives you a sense of what's going on in Nashville. Things are going to be popping up everywhere. My goal here is to go through right smack through the middle of downtown on Broadway and probably take a left on 2nd Avenue. Up ahead, that clock tower is Union Station. Used to be a railway, public railway for. But anyway, now it's a hotel, like a 5-star hotel. My God, what are they doing? There's so many new structures going up. That's Union Station on the right. Then right next to it is the Frist Art Museum, which that at one time was the United States Post Office, and then it was that got taken over to become a museum. Oh shoot! After I moved here in 1998. Probably get off on the other roads and find a whole lot more stuff that's been built, but it's best to see it from this angle because it's really quite overwhelming. Everything's become so tall. At one time, I can't even see the Batman building right now, but it used to be that was the most prominent feature in the skyline. Now we're getting into the ruckus and crazy downtown area that everybody has come to make a destination, where all the bars owned by country stars, I don't know whether this is a good idea to come down here thinking I was going to go down 2nd Avenue. I'm starting to see a whole lot of pedestrians. pedestrians, tourists. Okay, that's Tootsie's in that pink, purplish looking building. Tootsie's Orchid Lounge. There was something I never saw when I came down here before. Three-wheel pedal bikes for like little taxis. I'm sure we'll see a party bus or two here in a minute. Look at this nightlife. Wow. I guess you can tell from that comment that I don't get out much. Alright, there's a pedal bike, or a pedal whatever. These people are drinking and pedaling at the same time. Look at that. I never seen anything like that before in my life. This is a completely different place to what I'm familiar with from 10, 20 years ago. I wonder if I get to go down 2nd Avenue. Jason Aldean's on the right. Old Reds. It's Blake Shelton's place on the left. Miranda's. Luke's. By the way, this is Sunday night. Matter of fact, I'm sorry, to be more clear, this is Christmas Eve, Sunday night. Rooftop partying. This is all a bit overwhelming. Okay, I guess I can go down 2nd Avenue. 2nd Avenue used to be the place to be. But from this perspective, it looks like it's empty compared to what we just went through. Sure, it's a long light. Okay, this is the 2nd Avenue that I'm familiar with from long ago. It looks like they got fencing up for some improvements or something going on. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Wild Horse Saloon. This is probably, I can't even take a guess. Anyway, up ahead is where 3 years ago the Christmas Day explosion occurred. An RV was parked outside the AT&T network building. A computerized female voice broadcasted from it over the public address system, warning that there was a bomb in the vehicle. An investigation proved from DNA evidence that the perpetrator was inside of the RV when it exploded. From beginning right here and on up, all of this, especially on the right, was damaged and destroyed. And there's still some left, as you can see there. Part of it's destroyed. I have not come down here to look at any of this before. So, up here on the corner used to be a Hooters. I know that because I've been there. Actually, can I do this? Been so long. I know Second Avenue used to be a two-way. That's why I was a little confused there. This goes to First Avenue. I really don't want to go down Church Street. But boy, out the left window here, it's like a totally different downtown. Okay. Well, pretty much what I got done what I set out to do. I could probably go down West Haven Avenue the other direction and see it, but there's no need. It's getting dark. The Titans football game is over with, and the traffic is pretty much clearing out, hopefully. If I can figure out how to get myself out of here. Been a long time. As far as videotaping this on my phones, I'm gonna have to shut her down. Y'all have a good night.